Hey guys, Ewan here with the Old School Labs, and let's talk about Logan Franklin. Why Logan Franklin? First of all, I talked about this before, I mentioned him in a couple of my videos. He seems to be probably the only guy in the classic physique that can probably challenge Chris Bumstead. That's not gonna be Steve Laureus, I don't think so, I don't really see it. It's not gonna be Alex Cambronero who just won the Arnold Classic, I don't think that's gonna be Terence Ruffin. Keon Pearson moved on, George Peterson moved on to 212. Breon Ainsley was spot on last year, still didn't beat Chris Bumstead because of the shape, the natural structure that Chris has. So if Chris brings the shape, pretty much nobody can beat him. Except for this guy maybe. Of course, if he fixes the posing. Posing here is absolutely horrible. I wasn't sure if I should show you the video, but it's much more pleasant to watch a video than the photos, but this is not exactly super comfortable to watch. He was shaking, he was clumsy, it's not smooth posing at all. Hopefully he will fix it, he's a man's physique guy. He just transferred to classic physique this year. This was 2019, of course, Tampa Pro. He looked pretty good. He looked really good for somebody who just transferred to another division. But of course, again, posing was horrible and he was much smaller than he is right now. So he is making progress and he seems to be very driven. Now, why? Again, I'm talking about Franklin because I believe he has potential to actually become the Mr. Olympia. Probably the only guy that I can see right now. But he was acknowledged yesterday by nobody else but the current Mr. Olympia champion in classic physique, Chris Bumstead. Chris posted this story saying, "Pay attention to those who talk a hot game, but haven't proven anything to back it up yet. Opinions of yourself don't win shows." Wink emoji. Now, we cannot be sure if this is actually him talking about Logan Franklin, but yesterday, Nick Miller from League Strength and Power made a video about this, and he said that he had some screenshots on his hand that Logan showed him of his private messages with Chris Bumstead. And there was that, and there are also comments. So lately, Logan has been posting a lot of physique update photos, and he seems to be getting better and better. He'll be competing soon, I think September 5th. And that's going to be New York Pro, as you can see right here. At this point, he was 16 out of the New York Pro. And the first thing that pops to my eyes on this photo are his arms. And that is Chris's biggest weakness by far. Chris's arms are absolute trash. Let's be honest. He has everything perfect, pretty much. And I love his physique. He's definitely the best classic physique right now. No discussion about that. But he has shit arms. Let's be honest. Those arms are not good. On a couple of posts that Logan posted, there was a lot of comments about his rivalry, this new rivalry that you can see with the title holder, Chris Bumstead. And here is a comment from Logan. So this is kind of starting a beef, I believe. This was before Chris made that story. So he says, "I know what I've got. I know my shape. My lats connect to my waist, and I can hit every shot Chris Bumstead can hit, except I'm pretty sure my arms are much better. But we will see. This is a competitive sport and I'm looking forward to getting tested next to all these top guys, blah blah blah, but you get the idea." This is the most recent photo of him, front double bicep. And he looks to be much improved from last year, from that Tampa Pro show. Now you can see right here that he's right. I mean, what he said. He has everything pretty much that Chris has, only he has better arms. It's gonna be about who brings better conditioning, who has better muscle maturity, who has more polish, who peaks better. But as far as the size, I think Logan got to Chris's level. Yeah, last year I think he was right there, but now he seems to be bigger, yeah, and more mature than everything. And he said also in one of his posts that he's practicing posing like 30 minutes every day. And that's something that he really needs. Chris is a great poser. And Logan, he knows how to hit his poses. He knows how to show his body in the best light possible, that's for sure. But when it comes to transitions and a posing routine, that's where he sucks. Or at least he sucked last year. Hopefully he improved on that. Now, we're going to compare them, pose by pose. As you guys probably know, there are 5 mandatory poses in classic physique. In order to win a show, you need to beat the other guy in at least 3 of those mandatory poses. Of course, that's front double bicep, back double bicep, side chest, favorite classic physique pose, and abs and thighs. Now we're gonna start the comparison. So let's go with this pose right here, front double bicep. I think that you can see straight away that Logan was smaller last year and that he's much bigger now. And at this show, the lighting wasn't great. At the Tampa Pro, at the Mr. Olympia, it was much better, and it seems like he wasn't oiled up enough. And I don't know about the tan and everything, but I think if they were at the same show, I think they would both look much closer because the lighting and the polish and the oil and everything, it looks much better on Chris. Now, of course, I'm not sure the height difference. I think they are about the same height, but that part can never be absolutely accurate unless they're standing next to each other, literally. So let's try to ignore that part and let's just focus on what the other guy has and how big those muscles are compared to the rest of his body, compared to the joints and the waist and everything. So in this pose, yeah, I mean, Chris is better. Chris is probably going to be better in all the poses because again, Logan just switched from man's physique to classic physique last year and he grew a lot of muscle since that time. So last year he was smaller, but we're talking about the shape right now and the completeness of the physique. Like, if you have biceps, you have biceps. You can grow them a little, but you cannot change them entirely. Like, Chris will never have great biceps. If you have chest, you have chest. If you have legs, you have legs. Like, in 1 year, you cannot really create a muscle that isn't there. You can grow a little bit, you can come fuller, more conditioned, but you cannot really change your entire physique in 1 year especially. So in this pose right here, it's competitive. It's pretty close actually. It's not that big of a difference. They both have narrow waist. They both have pretty much the same looking kind of rib cage. So the vacuum looks amazing on both of these guys. They both have big lats, low inserted. They have great legs, both of them. I don't really like Logan's insertions of the quads. They're kind of short, but he has the mask. He has those adductors, and it looks pretty decent. I mean, Chris has better legs, but it's not big of a difference. What is a big difference is arms. So Logan definitely does have better arms as far as the shape. This year he was really flat. I think he dieted too hard and he didn't even get too conditioned, but he lost probably a lot of fullness, and I don't think he's going to make the same mistake this year around because he seems much fuller in those updated photos. So this pose, very close. Of course, Chris would win if this was a show, but can Logan beat him eventually in this pose? Yeah, he can. Let's go to the next one. Side chest. Can he eventually beat him in side chest? I don't think that's going to happen, ever. I don't think so. I don't think so because from the side, Logan's chest looks weird. There is some kind of a hole in it, a weird shape. And Chris has one of the best chests in the history of the world, I would say. I really like his chest. It's super wide, it's very, very thick. And you guys know that Chris turned pro in open bodybuilding, so you can compare him to many open bodybuilders who have flat chest. Chris has super straighted and wide and thick chest, so side chest pose, yeah, Logan has better arms, but is that enough? Hell no, it's not. And of course legs, Chris has better legs, but Logan can grow in that region and he can kind of beat him maybe. But as far as the chest, yeah, I don't see that happening. In this photo right here, in this comparison, Chris is far, far better. Can Logan beat him in the future? I do not think so. Not about this pose. Frontal bicep, yeah. This one, no. Let's go with the next one. Just like the previous pose, the side chest, this one, absent eyes, is a lot about how you hit it. If you know how to do it properly, you're gonna do much better. The previous pose, side chest, Logan should twist a little bit more to show the width of his physique. He was kind of hiding a lot of his physique in it, unlike Chris, who showed a lot. And in this pose, I prefer Logan the way he hits it. I think he's holding his arms a little bit closer to his head, and that looks more aesthetic to me. And Chris is known for this vacuum, but this is abs and thighs. I like to see abs. I mean, Chris also flexes his abs, but it looks worse. I chose this photo because this is what Chris is known for. This is kind of his signature pose, one of the. And like, who do you like more? I mean, yeah, you gotta love that vacuum, but Logan can do a vacuum if he wants, but he chooses to show his really good midsection, and I love it. And as far as the legs, Chris does this wide stance. I don't think I like it very much. I like it when it is closer stance. It looks more aesthetic to me. This looks more like bodybuilding type of posing, but he has better legs, deeply separated, very thick, very complete, super shredded and everything, a lot of details. But, you know, it's close. It's close once again. Who would win here? Of course, Chris, but can Logan beat him eventually if he gains more muscle maturity, if he gets more condition, if he gets bigger and fuller? In this pose, yeah, I think it's possible. It's not going to be easy for sure. It's going to be very, very hard, like in every pose, of course, but is there a possibility? Yeah, I think he can do it. Next one is back double bicep. Now, when we had Breon Ainsley versus Chris Bumstead, I think Chris won because he won 3 out of 5 poses. He lost in the back double bicep. As far as the front double bicep, it's very questionable because his front double bicep is very ecstatic, but he did have weak biceps, unlike Breon, who had crazy biceps. So I would say that he lost 2 poses to Breon, and this was one of them. I think this is his weakest pose out of all 5 poses. Now, he is more conditioned here. He has more polish, more details, harder looking physique. But if you take a look at the development of the back, Logan looks better. Logan looks much better. Look at the size of the traps. Just compare the size of the traps. I mean, Chris's traps look like baby traps compared to Logan's. Logan has really thick traps. The lats are inserted very low. They're very developed. And you can see the difference between the lats and the spinal erectors. They're separated. The rhomboids are popping. Everything is just looking much better, much thicker. Delts also. Look at the delts. More details, more striations. I think Chris is scared for a reason. And this is one of the reasons. Back double bicep looks much better on Logan. Of course, if this was the show, I think Chris would win because of the polish once again. But I'm not sure if it was only the lighting and the tan and the oil and stuff. I do think that Chris has an advantage here because of the lighting. But yeah, you can see that Logan wasn't as conditioned. If Logan gets more conditioned and he grew some muscle in the meantime, I think he's going to beat better. I think he's going to beat him this year at a Mr. Olympia in this pose. I don't know about the other poses, but I think he's going to beat him in this one because it looks much better, if you ask me. And so we come to the final classic physique mandatory pose, and it is your favorite classic physique pose. Now, there is a lot of debate if this should be a mandatory pose because it's different. Anybody can choose their own favorite classic physique pose, but we got lucky with this one because these guys both chose the same one for their favorite classic physique pose. Because they do have kind of similar physiques, aside from arms. Logan has everything that Chris has, pretty much. And here in this pose, Chris looks much better. I mean, he's doing the pose in a much better manner. He's showing his entire legs while Logan is hiding them, and they look much smaller because he didn't even flex them properly. He didn't twist his left leg the way he should. I mean, if you exclude the lighting and the conditioning, the way they're hitting it, Chris looks much better, even though he has much worse arms. But you can see that Logan has, much better biceps, and it is very, very important. Is that gonna win him a show? No, but he does have much more classic physique than Breon Ainsley. And if he gains more muscle maturity, if he gets more condition, he's gonna be a big problem for Chris in the future, maybe even this year. Chris is scared, and he showed it to us by making that story. And he should be. In my opinion, this is the only guy that I can see that can actually challenge him. And hopefully he will this year. Hopefully he will be in that top 2 mix. I don't know. I mean, I like Chris. I was really hoping and cheering for him. I really hope that he will beat Breon Ainsley because he has more classic physique. He was not conditioned as Breon was 2018, 2017. He finally brought the conditioning 2019, and I was really happy to see him win that show. But of course, nobody wants to see one champion on a throne for like 6, 7, 8, 10 years or whatever. We want to see some rivalry. We want to see different outcomes. So I don't want to be sure and always know who's going to win like it was with Phil Heath for the past 6, 7 years. Now it's much more interesting. Yeah, we don't have the kind of quality that we had before, but we don't know who's going to win. And I want it to be the same with classic physique. Hopefully it will. As for now, I only see Logan as a potential threat to Chris's title. We'll see what happens this year. Hopefully he will win that New York Pro. I'm pretty sure he will, and he will qualify for the Mr. Olympia. And he will stand next to Chris Bumstead. As soon as it happens, I'm going to report on it. I'm going to tell you what I think, and we'll see what's going to be the outcome. Anyways, guys, whatever you think about these two guys, and what do you think? Does Logan have a chance to actually beat Chris in the future? Whatever you think, tell me down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to this channel. All the best, guys, and keep it old school.